This conference will now be recorded.
Hi everyone, welcome to our day one training session of 30-day learning Oracle Goldengate challenge. My name is Ashish Agarwal, and I'll be delivering this session to you. So guys, this is 30-day learning Oracle Goldengate challenge which I am running. So what's unique in this challenge is with each session you will be provided with challenges, tasks to perform, which will take your learning to the next level. Now, I'll tell you, I conduct the sessions without providing challenges as well. But what happens during that time is I have seen people getting laid back. I have seen what people do is they generally don't follow the practices, exercises what I give. But during these challenge days, what happens is I expect you to spend 1.5 hour a day, and it is going to take your learning to the next level. So I want all of you to focus on the session, and trust me, upon completion of this session, you will be very good with Goldengate. So Goldengate is currently hottest technology in the market. Like everyone, everywhere, in every interviews, job, everywhere it is being used currently. So follow these sessions, complete the challenges task, and the training sessions. What we do, like upon completion of training, so it includes, I'll be discussing regarding the agenda and everything. So what 6 to 7 years of Golden Gate experience person or maybe more needs to know, you will get all that knowledge. So on that note, let us start the session. Today is day one, and before I commence, just a quick round of update regarding my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Ashish Agarwal_GG. So if you haven't visited the channel, I would request you to do visit the channel and do like, share, and subscribe the channel. The channel is dedicated to Golden Gate related videos. So if you haven't visited the channel, you can visit the channel and do like, share, and subscribe the channel. Thank you. So now let us start our session today. So I hope every one of you know me. So just to give you a brief introduction about me. So my name is Ashish Agarwal, and I have around 15 plus years of experience in Golden Gate and 13 plus years of training experience in Golden Gate. So far I have trained almost 4,300 plus individuals and taken 148 plus corporate batches. So I've been doing this training for a long time now, and I will continue to do this in the future. Sharing knowledge is my passion. So the agenda of this training includes introduction to Oracle Goldengate, architecture of Oracle Goldengate, installation. So the training is completely practical, and we'll be having a lot of scenarios which I'll be creating, like what you can expect in your interview, what you can expect in your job environment. Also, those will help you in clearing your interviews as well, because in interviews, if you get scenario-based questions, it will help you. So we'll be starting with the basics first, installation of Oracle Goldengate, what are concepts and components of Goldengate, DML replication, initial load, how Goldengate allows you to perform initial load, then data filtration and transformation using Goldengate. So Goldengate allows you to filter out the data and transform the data as per your requirement. Then what is bidirectional configuration and how Goldengate works in bidirectional configuration? We'll be discussing about that. DDL replication, bidirectional auto CDR, which is the new feature of Goldengate. I should not say new, but yeah, still it is less explored area. So I'll be discussing about bidirectional auto CDR, then DDL replication. Goldengate supports DML as well as DDL replication. So we'll be discussing about DDL replication. Then how to monitor the lag in Goldengate. So performance, as I told you, troubleshooting Goldengate. So troubleshooting, performance tuning, we'll be discussing regularly during the session. Then what is checkpoint in Goldengate, how it is critical. Security is another aspect. I always say one thing. A tool can give you 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 benefits, but if it cannot guarantee the security, it's of no use. Like, see, Golden Gate works on database, and data resides in database, and data is everything for the organization. If data leak or data is exposed, it's a big threat. It's a big security violation, right? So a tool can give you 100,000 benefits, but organizations are not going to use it or utilize the services of that product until it provides security. So Golden Gate has enhanced security measures, which we'll be discussing. Then parameters and parameter files of Oracle Goldengate, those are critical. How do you comprehend existing parameter file? This is one of the best session and topic. Then log dump utility of Goldengate, how to read Goldengate trail files, troubleshooting. Performance tuning of Goldengate will be discussing. Then parallel replicate, which is the new latest replicate which has been introduced recently. Then heartbeat Goldengate heartbeat table to monitor the lag. Performance metric server. Goldengate cloud service on OCI. Goldengate self-describing trail file feature. And then I'll be discussing about 21C new features as well. So in August end of 2021, Oracle has launched a a new version of Goldengate, which is 21C. Now the training which I'll be doing right now will be on 19C. I haven't upgraded the course content to 21C. The reason being 91C, it's in testing right now. I'm still testing it. See, until I test and until I pass it on my own, I cannot tell you like, I know its features. In fact, I did one webinar few days back. It's available on my YouTube channel on 21C. Those are the features, but still it's a new latest launched version and I don't want to risk or cannot promote it until I test it. So there are a few here and there things which I'm working on and once the testing is completed, I'll be working on means I'll be upgrading the course content to 21C. Another thing which very good suggestion which I received from one of the training students is like how to upgrade Goldengate 19C to 21C. Well, I can include means I didn't plan for it yet, but because I received that suggestion and I like the idea, so I'll be introducing that as well during the course. I'll plan to introduce it. Okay. And apart from that, lot of things we'll be discussing. So macros include files, obey files, lot of new things which I have not mentioned over here. So as I mentioned, today is day one of 30-day learning Goldengate challenge. So day one agenda of Goldengate includes, so today's session we are going to discuss about introduction to Oracle Goldengate, overview of Oracle Goldengate, different types of architecture available in Goldengate. So this is 30-day learning Oracle Goldengate classic architecture. So what are different types of architectures available in Goldengate? What are different types of extracts and replicates available? We'll see. And then what is Goldengate very data and how to set up. So for this training, as I told, it is practical. So I'll be letting you know how to set up your virtual boxes and training guidelines of this particular session. So before I start, let us discuss about Oracle database architecture, how Oracle database architecture looks like. So Goldengate is a product which works on database. Another important part with Goldengate is Goldengate works on heterogeneous database. That means that it not only works on Oracle, it also works on non-Oracle supported database. Now each database has its transactions which goes on. So what Goldengate does is it captures those transactions and apply those transactions on the target machine. So let us quickly see Oracle database architecture. So Oracle database architecture has two parts, instance and Oracle database. So instance constitutes your SGA. Along with that, it has background processes. Under Oracle database, you have actual files where the data resides, and also you have data files where the actual data resides. You have control files which stores the metadata information, and redo log files which contains the changes being made to the database. Now remember one thing, these redo log files are this redo log file contains changes made to the database. So whether you do any insert, update, delete, or any DDL transaction, those transactions get written into these log files. Now remember one thing, these redo log files may contain committed as well as uncommitted transactions. So instance, as I told, is divided into two parts, SGA and background processes. So SGA has library cache, data dictionary cache, database buffer cache, Java pool, redo log buffer, and large pool, along with others. Background processes includes pmon, smon, database writer, log writer, checkpoint, and there are other more background processes. So whenever any dirty buffer. So what happens is DBWR is the process which helps in writing the data from database buffer cache to data file. So say for example, you update any record. Say you executed update DEPT11 table, set location equal to India, where department number equal to 10. So what happens as soon as you execute that update, it becomes a dirty buffer, and that information gets returned into database buffer cache. Now remember that change doesn't get returned to data file initially. It's part of your database buffer cache. Using DBWR, which is database writer process, that data gets returned from database buffer cache to data file using this database writer process. Along with that, any dirty buffer which is there, a dirty buffer gets returned to redo log buffer as well. So whatever changes you do, whatever insert, update, delete you do, or any DDL transactions you do, those changes gets recorded into your database buffer cache. And from database buffer cache, it gets written into redo log buffer. And from redo log buffer, they gets returned to redo log file using log writer process. So there is that background process which is called as log writer process. So log writer process aids redo log buffer to write the data to redo log file. So log writer writes the data to redo log file whenever there is commit happens. Whenever there is commit at the database, log writer will flush all the data from redo log buffer to redo log file, or when redo log buffer is 1/3 full, or when there is 1 MB of redo, or every 3 seconds. However, it does that before database writer process writes the data from database buffer cache to data file. Prior to that, the data gets returned from redo log buffer to redo log file. Now the question comes, why do you need this redo log files? What is the need of these redo log files? So redo log files are used for redo purpose. Say for example, before the data could be returned from database buffer to data files, your database crashes. So to redo the transactions, once the data comes up, you need this these redo log files. So redo log files are used for redoing the transactions. Okay, so these redo log files are the log files which contains any change being made to the database. So these redo log files have limited size and they are in limited number. So the backup of redo log files is taken on disk, and the backup of redo log files when taken on disk are called as archive log files. So archive log files are the files which reside on disk, and they are backup of the redo log files. So these are the redo log files, and archive log files are the transaction logs of the database. They are the transaction logs of the Oracle database. Each database has its own transaction logs. Whatever database you have, like say for example, you have SQL Server, you have DB2, you have MySQL, every database has its own transaction logs. In case of Oracle, the transaction logs of those databases are called as transaction logs. However, in case of Oracle, these transaction logs are called as redo log files or backup of redo log files, which are called as archive log. So for Goldengate, this database architecture is too big. We are going to discuss about what is needed for, we are concentrating on what is needed for Oracle Goldengate to capture the data or apply the data. So Oracle Goldengate need these files, the backup of, means Oracle Goldengate needs transaction logs to capture the data. So in case of Oracle, when it has to capture the data, the source of those is redo log files or backup of redo log files, which are archive log files. When it is SQL Server, it is transaction log. So basically, ultimately, it is transaction logs only of the database. In case of Oracle, those transaction logs are called as redo log files or archive log. Okay. So what are the different solutions available today for data replication purpose? Apart from Goldengate, why Goldengate is so popular product? The question comes, why Goldengate is so popular? Is there any specific reason for it? Why Goldengate is most utilized product? So there are competitors available of Oracle Goldengate in the market, like EMC, Recover Point, IBM Mirror, Hitachi TrueCopy, Hewlett Packard. Then there is Actinity, if you have heard about. Then there is Shareplex. But still, the market share of Goldengate is much higher than any other competitor. Why? What is the reason behind it? The reason is there are technical as well as financial reason associated to it. So let us discuss about what are the technical reasons. So with Goldengate, data is sent in real time with sub-second latency. So Goldengate sends the data from source database to target database with within minimum seconds. So data is sent in near real time with sub-second latency. Goldengate, of course, supports heterogeneous environments across different databases and hardware types. So one question which I have received over chat, guys, if you have any question, post it into the chat window. Also, I'll give you chance to ask any of the question if you have. I'll give you chance to ask those questions. So none of your questions will remain unanswered. So if you have any doubts, any question, just wait. I'll give you chance to ask the question. Apart from that, if your question is urgent, post it into the chat window and I'll take your question. And none of your question will remain unanswered during the session. Okay. So now one point is, which is mentioned in chat is, isn't DataGuard competitor of Goldengate? Why DataGuard is not mentioned? Anyone would like to answer? Is DataGuard competitor of Goldengate? What do you think?
No, Ashish, DataGuard cannot be competitor of Goldengate in this sense.
Okay. Any reason for it?
The reasons that you mentioned for Goldengate itself, because DataGuard is connected to just 1 DB. You cannot have multiple targets, right? Goldengate, you can reach even heterogeneous, like you can go to a non-Oracle database as well. You can replicate to not. That is the main, I think, difference between DataGuard and here you have a physical copy. DataGuard. The main reason you need to have a physical copy as well. You can have other things, but the restrictions to a DataGuard are like, you are just copying, you're performing replication of particular database.
Okay.
As a disaster recovery, Goldengate can be used for multiple targets, and you can have multiple bi-directional replication as well. DataGuard is just one way.
Okay, that is a good point what you have mentioned. So as IMO is that is IMO, right?
Hello.
No, that is Nadeem. Okay, thanks, Nadeem.
Yeah, Nadeem.
So what Nadeem mentioned is, he's somewhat correct what he has mentioned. So I would put it into a different way, Nadeem. Like what you mentioned is absolutely correct, but I would put it in different way. Goldengate DataGuard is not competitor of Goldengate. The reason being, you can compare apple with apple, but you cannot compare apple with orange, right? So the thing here is, Goldengate, what it achieves or what it can achieve is completely different to DataGuard. So DataGuard is used for complete disaster recovery. It is used to replicate complete data. But with Goldengate, there are lot of different advantages. Like you can perform data filtration and transformation. You can have bidirectional. You can you can do it in near real time, and the way it works is also completely different. So Goldengate, so DataGuard is completely a replication solution. However, Goldengate, it is, apart from replication, it is also business intelligence tool along with Informatica or ODI. It is one of the best available business intelligence tool in the market. So Goldengate serves a lot of purposes. Goldengate is available in the market for different features, like you can also do zero downtime upgradation and migration. Your databases could be used by application. Lot of new things. Lot of things are there with Goldengate. So as and when the session goes on, you'll understand. But just to let you know, with DataGuard and Goldengate, there is no comparison. The purpose of DataGuard and Goldengate is completely different. Okay. Okay. So Goldengate supports, apart from that, it also supports heterogeneous environments. So that is another difference. So Goldengate supports heterogeneous environments across different database and hardware types. So with Goldengate, you can have different database replication, like you can replicate the data from Oracle to DB2, DB2 to SQL Server, SQL Server to Oracle, anything is okay. So Goldengate supports heterogeneous environments across different databases and data hardware types. So along with that, the source database can be on Linux, can be on Windows. Goldengate can replicate the data without any issue. Along with that, it also supports backward compatibility and forward compatibility as well. So your source database can be your source database server could be platform could be any, and target platform could be any. Goldengate. So along with that, Goldengate source could be 11G, target could be 19C. Goldengate can replicate the data. Similarly, a source database version could be 19C and target version database version could be 11G. Goldengate can replicate the data without any issues. Goldengate delivers high performance with low impact. So Goldengate provides you high performance with low impact solution. See, Goldengate is a tool which is external to database. Now, because it is external tool to the database, we cannot say that it has no impact because it works on the database. However, the the value it brings and the performance delivery is there with Goldengate. It is very huge. So it delivers high performance with low impact. Ability to move large volume of data very efficiently. So with Goldengate, you can replicate your blob, glob, any lobs easily, and no single point of failure. So it's very easy to troubleshoot Oracle Goldengate. There are different levels involved. So these are the technical reasons. What could be the financial reason? One of the financial reason I'll tell you means I'll tell you one thing. I have implemented Goldengate in more than now 750 projects or maybe 800. The thing is, what I've seen in most places is like, not most places, the percentage would be 15 to 20%. So this is my personal experience, what I'm sharing right now, why Goldengate. It's not a universal thing what I'm sharing, but it's as per me, why Goldengate is popular. Another reason is, so Goldengate is a separately licensed product and it's costly product. We all know that. Again, if you have any licensing question, how much it costs, I would divert that question to the Oracle account manager because I'm not the licensing expert, and anyways, the product is owned by Oracle. But we all know it is expensive product. It's not like it's not a free product, it's a separately licensed product. Okay, now what happens is when you buy separate licenses with Goldengate, it costs you more. But Oracle also signed EULA, end user license agreement, with its client. Now, under end user license agreement, you can include the product, what you want to use, and you can use them in any number of system or any number of databases you want to use it for. So the advantage is organization. So Goldengate is basically charged based on number of database CPUs you have. But with end user license agreement, based on the terms and condition, you can use Goldengate in as many databases you want. So what happens is organizations sign end user license agreement with Oracle, and because Goldengate delivers high performance results, it it adds lot of value to the organization revenue and business. Hence, they use Goldengate a lot. So Goldengate is getting very. The reason why there is so much demand of Goldengate administrator is because Goldengate is highly utilized product, and to run Goldengate, you need to have Goldengate knowledge for that, and that's why Goldengate is very widely used, and that is the reason these Goldengate jobs are increasing or coming out into the market a lot. So now, so if you see with Goldengate, another important part with Goldengate is it works with existing Oracle products like continuous availability for heterogeneous systems, real-time data access for reporting. So you can use a target machine for reporting, real-time data for business intelligence, BPM, Excel data. So as I told, it works with Informatica and it is one of the best business intelligence tool available in the market. And it also supports zero downtime migration and upgradation to Oracle database and application. So Goldengate is used to this figure. What you see, it is quite old. It may be around 5-7 years old. So right now, Goldengate is being used in all the domains. The customer list is huge. Banks, all banks, major banks in this world are using Oracle Goldengate. All major means I think every telecom company is using Goldengate right now. Financial data service, they are using. Telecommunication provider, as I mentioned, they are using. Food and drug store, healthcare, everywhere Goldengate is being used right now for data replication. Uh, but one thing which I'll tell you is like I did one of the project few days back for one of the big electricity company in Canada, hydro company. There I understood that these electricity companies they're not using Goldengate. So I because why I understood that was because that was my first experience with like any electricity company, and there I understood I had one proposal. I did one POC for them. So there I understood upon working like it is going to be in huge demand in providers, electricity providers as well. So right now that domain is untouched from Goldengate. But apart from that, most of the domains are using Goldengate or utilizing Goldengate. Because see, now you may say why Goldengate is getting utilized by each organization. Like say for example, if you have to talk about food and drug store, like Shoppers Drug Mart, why would they need Goldengate? See, as I told you, each organization maintains the data of its customer. To maintain the data, they also have to keep the copy of that. They have to massage it. They have to massage that data so that they can reach out to as many customers as they can based on the requirement. And that is why they are using Goldengate. They are building solutions related to Goldengate so that they can reach out to as many people as they can. They can send out the new offers. They can build out the custom offers for each customer. That is why. So Oracle Goldengate solutions include high availability. So it ensures that your databases are highly available. It also supports zero downtime upgradation and migration. So say for example, you have to migrate the data from on-prem to cloud. Goldengate nowadays, as I told you, Goldengate is a separately licensed product. But what organizations are doing right now is they are buying the licenses of Goldengate separately just for the purpose of upgradation and migration. So what it allows them is it allows them that their databases are available without any downtime. And another thing is it also helps them save the revenue for them. So it is very widely used for zero downtime upgradation and migration. Then it is used for live reporting as well. Like I'll give you one quick scenario. In 2011, like in 2009 or 10, means between 2009 to 2011, I was still means novice into Goldengate. I was starting my career at that. I started working on Goldengate in 2018, but it took like wings from 2009. And until 2011, like I was still learning Goldengate because it was the 11G version at that time and it didn't have much feature. So every day, every time I used to learn new things. Now what happens? State Bank of India. Those who are from India, they can know how big the customer base they have. Just to let other people know, State Bank of India is one of the biggest bank in the world. Their database size at that time in 2010 or 11, it was 43 terabytes. I believe it must have grown up to 90 terabytes or maybe more. What used to happen during that time is if you can relate those who had account during that time or who those of you whose parents used to have account in SBI, because it was government-backed bank, and at that time people used to fear with private banking. So State Bank of India, what used to happen was like their primary server was in Mumbai and secondary server was in Hyderabad, India, which used to get replicated using data guard at that time. Now, what used to happen, if you can relate, like customer experience was so bad, they had to queue up. At that time, net banking wasn't that popular. So organizations, like people used to queue outside the bank to get their work done based on any transaction they had to do or anything, whatever they wanted to do. So they had to do everything upon queuing up outside the bank. And the thing was, they used to spend whole day during in the lines, but still nothing worked. Like still they used to get the message that either our system is down or system is not working, that's why you cannot do. And it used to have very bitter effect on the customer experience. And at that time, people used to move to different banks in India. Now, I was working with one of the IT company in India at that time. I wasn't consultant, but I was working with one of the high big Indian IT company. So they invited us to check their environment and see what could be the issue. So we identified that like there during the daytime, during the on business time, when customers are there and they want to do the transaction, at that time, lot of reporting jobs in banking and telecom domain, in fact in all the domains, but generally in these two domains, there are a lot of reporting jobs which runs, which consume a lot of resources and which makes database quite slow because the response time is consumed by reporting jobs. And at that time, State Bank of India, like it's a government bank, they didn't used to like adopt new technologies, new servers. Their servers were quite old, hence the response time was really bad. So the thing is, we analyzed their environment and we found out that reporting jobs consumes a lot of time during the day. So what we suggested during that time was we suggested that move your reporting jobs to run from Hyderabad server. But what they mentioned was because it's data guard, sometimes it lags up to like 120 hours as well. That is 5 days, and you cannot run reporting job on that backlog. So we identified the issue. Then we suggested them like let us have a data replication using Goldengate. We built a secondary site and we did the replication, and then they switched over their jobs because there was lag of 5 to 10 seconds, and reporting jobs can run on data which is 5 to 10, which most of the reporting jobs can run. If there is any critical reporting job, then they can run it from main server. But most of the jobs, around 90% of jobs, were switched to the secondary server, that is DR server. So what happened, you won't believe the in performance impact of deliver. The server load was down and the customer experience increased a lot. So still Goldengate is being used by SBI. It is one of the best case study which I have under my resume. Okay, so you can use your Goldengate target server for live reporting purpose as well. Then you can use Goldengate for business intelligence purpose as well. Like I told you, Goldengate along with Informatica or ODI is one of the best business intelligence tool available in the market. So Goldengate supports multiple databases and platforms. This list again, it has now increased a lot. Like it also supports it also supports the Informix database, NoSQL database, Postgres, capture and delivery, everything is supported. So Goldengate supports capture from multiple. In fact, it now supports capture from autonomous database as well. Until 19C, it didn't used to support the it didn't used to support capture from autonomous database, only replication was supported, but now capture from autonomous database is also supported from Goldengate version 21c as well. Okay, so this is the introduction of Goldengate. We'll now discuss about architecture of Oracle Goldengate. What are different types of architecture? What is very data? But before I proceed, if you have any question, you can ask or you can type your questions in the chat window and I'll take those questions. So does anyone have any question? Okay, so if there are no questions, let us move forward. I hope you are able to follow the session. Okay. So let us now discuss about architectural overview of Goldengate. So before I proceed the architecture of Goldengate, guys, one thing let me tell you is whatever I'm telling you right now is until 19C. Whatever is written on this slide right now for you, mark it as until 19C for classic architecture and microservices. So I'll give a quick overview of Goldengate. So Goldengate was founded in 1995 and it is named after famous San Francisco bridge, Golden Gate Bridge. Now from 1995 to 2009, it was Golden Gate. In 2009, Oracle overtook it and since then it is known as Oracle Golden Gate. Now from 2009 to 2017, there was only one way to configure Golden Gate and that was through command prompt GGSCI. Those of you who have worked on Golden Gate, you will understand what GGSCI. If you haven't worked, don't worry, these things will be clear to you. So until 2017, there was only one way to configure Golden Gate and we used to call it Oracle Golden Gate at that time. In 2017, Oracle launched a new architecture of Golden Gate which is called as microservices. And they renamed the existing architecture of Golden Gate to classic architecture. They renamed the existing architecture of Golden Gate to classic architecture. Okay, so classic architecture allows you to set up, manage, troubleshoot, configure Golden Gate through GGSCI, and it is available for Oracle as well as non-Oracle database. Remember one thing guys, from 21C, classic architecture is deprecated. Remember, it's not de-supported, but it is deprecated. So microservices is going to be the future of Oracle Goldengate. Goldengate Microservices was launched in August 2017 and it is available from Goldengate version 12.3 onwards. It allows you to set up, manage, troubleshoot, configure Goldengate through GUI. It also has command prompt, but main feature is it has GUI and it allows for better integration with cloud application. Until 19C, microservices was available for Oracle database only. From 21C Goldengate version, microservices has been launched for 5 non-Oracle database, which include SQL Server, MySQL, DB2, and I believe 1 or 2 more databases it has been. Two more databases for which it has been launched. So now microservices is available for Oracle as well as non-Oracle databases. Now the thing guys is microservices share as of today is microservices share as of today is 20% or maybe 22 or 25%, not much. Classic architecture is the dominant player, but what Oracle is doing is promoting its customers to use this microservices architecture. So in future, you will find microservices being architecture being used a lot. Now there is another product in Goldengate family. So there are two types of architecture available, the classic as well as microservices architecture. So you can choose any when you are implementing Goldengate based on the supported architecture you have. Then there is another product in Goldengate family. So one question which is there is, with the transition to Goldengate microservices, does that mean non-Oracle databases are losing out? No, no, no. That's not the thing. Microservices is available for Oracle as well as few non-Oracle database right now. For those microservices, if not available, they still will be using classic architecture, like Informix database. It doesn't have microservices introduced yet. So they will be using classic. So it's not like anyone is losing out. No, no, no. That's not the correct assumption. Everyone is using. So microservices is future of Goldengate, and it will work in the same way for Oracle or non-Oracle database. It's just that Oracle is developing the product or upgrading the product to different databases with time. So earlier they launched microservices for Oracle. Now they have launched it for SQL Server, MySQL, DB2 and other databases. And then in future, they will be rolling out microservices for the other database as well, for which it is still not there. So that they can de-support. As of now, there is no word from Oracle that they will de-support it, but because they are using the word deprecated, that means definitely they have planned to de-support this classic architecture in future. Okay. Then another product in Goldengate family is Veridata. How many of you have heard about this Veridata? Anyone?
Yes, sir. Ashish, I have heard.
Yes, Ashish.
Okay, that's good. So Veridata is another product in Goldengate family, which allows you to verify the data. So Veridata, as the name suggests, it verifies the data. So Veridata is used to find discrepancies between two objects, and it can repair them as well. So say for example, on source database, you have 10,000 records. On target, you have 9,000 records. So there is that discrepancy of 1,000 records, right? So what Veridata can do for you is it can identify those discrepancies for you, and it can repair those discrepancies as well if needed. So Veridata is the product which is getting nowadays very popular due to these cloud migrations going on. So upon migration, organization want to confirm whether their data is in sync or not. That's why they use Veridata a lot. Along with that, if you're looking to be Goldengate certified, Veridata contains questions from the Goldengate certification contains questions from Veridata as well. So these are the three things in Goldengate: classic architecture, microservices, and Veridata. When you have knowledge of all three, like any question, anything related to Goldengate which comes in the market is related to classic microservices and Veridata. So this is 30-day learning Goldengate classic architecture we are learning. So learning classic architecture sets up your base. Learning microservices and Veridata is like recommended. Like it covers all the aspect in Oracle Goldengate. Now Nadeem has a question that does Veridata handle discarded data as well? So see, you have to understand one thing. In terms of Veridata, it doesn't have, you don't have anything like discarded data. The data get discarded at Goldengate level. Remember, the tool is called as Oracle Goldengate Veridata, but it works separately than Goldengate. Like it works on the data of database. So the thing is, say for example, there are 10 records on source, 9 records on target. So when that discrepant record, it will identify, it does the column by column check as well. So basically if any row, if you execute the update on source and it didn't get applied on target. So in that case, Veridata is getting used a lot. So Veridata does column by column check. So if anything, any mismatch is there, it will repair that mismatch. So the answer to your question is, does Veridata handle discarded data as well? The answer is yes to it. But the thing is, Veridata has nothing to do with discarded data. The discard happens at Goldengate level, not at Veridata. Veridata just checks the data directly at the database level. and repair that accordingly. Okay. Okay. Now one quick question. I believe most of you have got answer to this question because I have been doing a lot of webinars on this and I have been looking after it a lot. But still, if anyone have any doubts, one quick question. We are talking about classic and microservice, and this is one of the most common question which I receive. And let me know if you have the same question as well. With the introduction of microservices, does that mean integrated no longer exist? Anyone? Does anyone have same question? I repeat, with introduction of microservices, does integrated no longer exist? Okay, so Nadeem has that question. Okay, Anil has that question, and rest all I believe that means you all know. Okay, so can anyone answer like Sanket? Would you like to answer this with the introduction of classic?
It contains integrated actually.
Sorry?
Integrated. Even MSC can have integrated architecture.
Okay, means so my question is with the introduction of microservices, does integrated no longer exist?
It exists, Ashish.
It exists. It exists.
Okay, just I'll give you 2 minutes to think on it and then I'll take that.
Ashish, can I say something on this? Nadeem here.
Okay, so your 2 minutes are over. Okay, so I'll answer that now. So what we are talking about here is different types of Oracle Goldengate architecture. We are talking about here is different types of Oracle Goldengate architecture. So there are two types of architecture, classic and microservices. Now, integrated is one of the type of extract and replicate. So the thing is, so those of you like extract and replicate who don't know, I'll be discussing about architecture in next slide. But just to give the brief introduction, in Goldengate you have extract process which captures the data and replicate process applies the data to the target database. Okay, so integrated is one of the type of extract and replicate. So different types of extracts and replicates which are available are integrated extract and classic extract. So what happens since the beginning of Goldengate, there was only term called as extract and replicate. Now there are two types of extracts which are available: integrated extract and classic extract. So classic extract, when Goldengate was launched, there was only extract. Then they launched integrated extract and they renamed the existing type of extract to classic extract. So classic extract is available since beginning. Integrated extract is available from 11.204 Goldengate. So classic extract is available until 18C In 18C, I guess classic extract was deprecated, and 21C classic extract is completely de-supported for Oracle databases. So from 21C Goldengate version onwards, classic extract is completely de-supported. So classic extract is completely de-supported now. So in means for Oracle database, not for non-Oracle database. So integrated extract is available only for Oracle databases. For non-Oracle database, it is still classic extract. And integrated extract is available from Goldengate version 11.204 and database version 11.203. Then different types of replicates which are available are non-integrated replicate. Earlier there was only replicate, but then they renamed it to non-integrated replicate. Once integrated replicate was introduced from Goldengate version 12.1 and database 12c. Then coordinated replicate was introduced in 12.2. Parallel replicate was introduced in Goldengate version 12.3. So from Goldengate version 12.3, this parallel replicate was introduced for Oracle. And in 21C, parallel replicate support has been extended to like SQL Server, MySQL, and DB2 databases as well. So these are different types of extracts and replicates. Integrated extract, classic extract, then non-integrated replicate, integrated replicate, coordinated replicate, and parallel replicate. So you configure classic extract. So under classic architecture, you have different types of extracts and replicates, which include classic and integrated. Similarly, different types of replicate, which we discussed. Same with microservices. You can configure classic extract or integrated extract, classic replicate or integrated replicate or parallel replicate or coordinated replicate. So the answer to the question is, does integrated no longer exist? It exists, but it is different type of extract and or replicate. However, this classic and microservices are different types of Oracle Goldengate architecture. Okay. Okay. Okay, so one question which is being asked, very good question. Can we have different types of extract pairs in the same GG setup? Absolutely. So your source, you can have classic extract, target, you can have integrated extract, integrated replicate. Source can have integrated extract, target can have coordinated replicate, parallel replicate, or any other supported replicate. So absolutely, the answer to your question is absolutely you can have. Same way, you can have different type of architectures on source and target. So on source, you can use classic architecture. On target, if you want to use, you can use microservices architecture. So the best advantage with Goldengate is each environment is different. So you can choose as per your environment. You can choose the architecture, the type of extract or replicate as per your environment and requirement. Okay. So now let us quickly discuss about different types. So how Goldengate works, let us see. What is the architecture of Oracle Goldengate? So you have source database and target database. So source database can be Oracle and any non-Oracle supported database. Similarly, a target database can be Oracle or any non-Oracle supported database. So each database has its own transaction logs. Those transaction logs in case of Oracle are called as redo logs, or backup of redo logs, which are called as archive logs. So whatever changes happens to the database, those changes get written into the transaction logs of the database. So the capture process, so whatever, say for example, you do insert, update, delete, those transactions get written into the transaction logs of the database, and Goldengate capture process captures them and writes them to the trail file on local machine, which are called as local trail. So these trail files are binary format files which resides on operating system. Now once the data is available into these local trail, data pump process reads the data out of these local trail, sends them over TCP/IP network, and writes them to the trail file on target machine, which are called as remote trail. Once the data is available into remote trail, Goldengate replicate or delivery process reads the data out of your remote trail and apply it to target database. So here capture process is also called as extract process. Similarly, delivery process is also called as replicate process, as you see in previous slide. So different types of extract and replicate. So capture process is also called as extract process. Similarly, delivery process is also called as replicate process. Okay, so what capture process does is capture process captures the committed transaction. So these transaction logs contains committed as well as uncommitted transactions. So capture process captures only committed transactions and write them to the local trail. Once the data becomes available into local trail, the data pump process writes them to the remote trail. And once the data becomes available into remote trail, the replicate process applies them to the target database. So now the main thing is, how is Goldengate real time? We say that Goldengate is near real time. How is it near real time? The thing is, Goldengate does not transfer the trail file over TCP/IP network. Remember, it transfers the data available into this local trail and sends it over TCP/IP network and writes it to remote trail. So these trail files reside on local system as well as remote system. So the trail file residing on source database machine are called as source trail or local trail. Trail file residing on target machines are called as remote trail. So these are the three processes involved in Goldengate: capture, pump, and delivery. Extract, pump, and replicate process. Goldengate also works in bidirectional environment. So in bidirectional, in bidirectional, what happens is both the sites are live. So application can be connected to any of the site. Application can be connected to any of the site. So application can be connected to any of the sites. So in this environment, what happens is, when the application is connected to both the sides. So bidirectional is nothing but two-way unidirectional. So two-way unidirectional means both the sites can be active and live. So whatever transactions happens on site 1, they will be replicated to site 2. Similarly, whatever transactions happens on site 2, they will be replicated to site 1 database. So site 2 database will have its own transaction logs. So it will have its own transaction logs. So whatever transaction gets committed over there, the capture process will capture it, write it to local trail on site B. The pump process on site B will read the data and write it to remote trail on site A. And then replicate process configured on site A will apply it to target site A database. So each server has its own, each database has its own process. So if you see here, capture, pump, and delivery, each process on site A is independent of site B process. So each process in Goldengate, like capture, pump, and delivery, are independent of capture, pump, and delivery of site B database. So there are three processes involved over here for Goldengate replication: capture, pump, and delivery processes. Okay. So if I have to quickly revisit the architecture, so capture process captures the data, write to local trail. Pump process reads the data from local trail, sends it over TCP/IP network and writes it to remote trail. And then the replicate process applied to target database. So in classic capture, what happens is the extract process. So there are two types of extracts, like classic extract and integrated extract. Now, what is the difference between the two? So in classic extract, what happens is it directly connects to the database and reads the data from the transaction logs of the database. So here, if you see, the extract process establishes the connectivity with the database directly. However, in integrated capture, what happens? In integrated capture, there is one more utility between database and extract process, which is log miner utility. So log miner process receives the changes. So copy of any change. So what in integrated capture, what happens is in integrated capture, so whatever changes are happening to the database, those changes are getting returned to your redo logs and archive logs. Now the copy of those changes gets returned to the log miner database. Now log miner then passes on the changes to the extract process which are needed by the extract process in form of LCR. LCR stands for logical change records. And once it writes the changes, once the extract process receives the changes, it writes them to the local trail file. So log miner process here is responsible for sending the data to the extract process. However, in classic capture, the classic extract reads the changes from the redo log files and then captures those. But here log miner passes on the changes needed by the extract process. Now one quick question from everyone. Why do you think so? So one thing I'll tell you here is integrated capture performance is almost 5 times better than classic capture. Integrated capture performance is almost 5 times better than classic capture. But doesn't that seem odd? Because if we see classic, it is directly interacting with database, means transaction logs. However, here between transaction logs like redo logs and remember this integrated capture is available only for Oracle database. So this redo logs and archive logs, between redo logs and archive logs and extract process, there is one more utility in between, which is called as log miner. Why? How come the performance of integrated capture can be better than classic capture? Anyone would like to answer this? Did you get my question? I again repeat. Few means around 2 minutes before, I iterated that the performance of integrated capture is 5 times faster than the classic capture. However, if I see classic capture and if I see integrated capture, I see that in classic capture, it is directly interacting with the transaction logs of the database. However, here in integrated capture, you have one more layer in between, which is log miner. How come classic capture be better than integrated capture? Sorry, how come integrated capture be better than classic? Okay, so Anil is saying only filtered data received with integrated, but that filtration anyways needs to be done, right? That extract process can do as well. So Anil is saying that only filtered data is received by integrated extract. But anyways, even if that's the case, classic extract can also do that, right? Then how come it is fast? Okay, yeah, so log miner is so here log miner is doing this filtration. Here classic is doing this filtration. So classic extract. So why there could be that difference? Anil, you are going in the right direction, just to let you know. But you're not like hammering the nail.
Ashish, can I answer?
Yes, Ankit.
So only required data, log miner captures that from archive logs.
Absolutely correct. But then capture process can also do that, right? No, log miner, okay. Log miner is exact copy of these transaction means redo logs or archive logs. but it passes on the changes which are needed by extract process. It passes on only those changes which are needed by extract process.
Ashish, so
Yeah, Belvin.
I think in classic capture, the extract has to deal with reading full database blocks to send over, but in the integrated architecture, it only has to read the SQL statements which have been mined by the log miner, which is
So
faster.
you are somewhat correct, Belvin. So the thing is, see, so what you are doing is saying is partially correct. So the thing here is, see, here the filtration of, so consider a scenario wherein you have, like, say for example, 100 tables in database. You want to capture the data of only two tables, DPT11 and EMP11. Now there are 1,000 transactions, 10,000 transactions related to T1 table, then 1,000 transactions related to T2 table, then two transactions are related to department 11 table, then again 100,000 transactions related to sys table, and then so on. So what happens is, in classic capture, what it has to do is it will read these transactions in sequential manner. And once it is able to find the transaction, it will capture those. However, in integrated capture, same task is done by log miner, but log miner is internal to database, hence it is able to do it faster. So here the classic capture is the external tool to the database, hence it takes sense. However, log miner is internal to the database, hence it is much faster. So in integrated capture, this is the integrated capture architecture. Like there are four parallel process which runs in integrated capture, like reader, preparer, builder, and then capture. So reader, so internally there are four processes which runs: reader, preparer, builder, and capture which happen. So reader reads the data, preparer then prepares the data, builder then builds, and then capture process captures, and then this sends the data to the extract process. So integrated capture is faster. The performance of integrated capture, as per my personal experience, is 5 times faster than the classic capture. So we'll be discussing more on this. So the thing here is, like, when we create this integrated capture, so do we have to do anything separately for log miner? No. Automatically, when you register your integrated extract, the log miner build happens. So you don't have to do any extra step. Just to let you know, there is concept of integrated capture and classic capture. We'll be discussing about this during, when we do practically, you will be having a lot more clarity in it. Okay, so there are two types of architecture. One is classic and microservices, and there are different types of extracts and replicates available: integrated extract, classic extract, non-integrated replicate, integrated replicate, coordinated, and parallel replicate. So Goldengate data flow, how it happens is, capture process reads the committed transactions. It captures the committed transactions from the transaction logs and writes them to the local trail. Once the data is available into local trail, data pump process reads the data from local trail, sends it over TCP/IP network and writes it to remote trail, and then the delivery process applies it to target database. And then in classic capture, it directly connects to the database and reads the transaction logs. However, integrated capture, there is log miner utility in between. So log miner passes on the changes needed by the extract process in form of LCRs. Okay. So Baldwin has one question: that is the collector process optional in GG? So just to let you know, guys, though we haven't discussed and we'll be discussing it later on, but because Baldwin is asking that question, so guys, there is one background process, collector process, which runs in the background over here. Collector process is also there, which runs in the background. Okay. So what happens here is the pump process sends the data over TCP/IP network and writes it to remote trail. Now here, once the pump process sends the data over TCP/IP network, there is in background a collector process runs here. So collector process, as the name suggests, it collects the data and then writes that data to the remote trail. So pump process doesn't write the data directly to remote trail. There is background process, collector process which runs. Okay, and it then collects the data upon receiving the data from the pump process and writes it to remote trail. So we'll be discussing about components of Goldengate, where we'll be discussing about collector process as well. But because this question has been asked now, so I answered that. I hope Elvin, it answers your question. So the answer to your question is it's not optional, it is always there, but it is a background process. So any other question from anyone? Okay, so if no more questions are there, so let me quickly do recap of today's session, what we discussed. So we discussed about introduction of Oracle Goldengate. So it was overtook by Oracle in 2009, and since then it is known as Oracle Goldengate. In 2017, Microservices architecture was launched, and there are two types of architecture now: classic architecture and microservices. So classic is command prompt based architecture. Microservices also supports GUI. Then Veridata is another tool which verifies the data and identify the data discrepancies. Remember guys, one thing, Veridata is separate licensed product. Then we discussed about why Goldengate. So we discussed about technical and financial reasons for it. Then different types of extract process which are available are classic extract and integrated extract. Then we'd also discuss about different types of replicates, and then we discussed about how data flow in Oracle Goldengate. Okay. Okay. So the next session will be tomorrow, same timing. So day 2 of 30-day learning Oracle Goldengate challenge will be tomorrow. So as per EST timing, it will be Wednesday 10th November and timing will be same. And as per Indian Standard Time, it will be Thursday 11th November or any British timing as well. Same timing as of today. Okay. So in the next session, guys, am I audible to you? Can you confirm?
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yes.
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 Okay. Okay. So the next session will be tomorrow, same timing. And in tomorrow's session, what we'll be discussing is we'll be continuing in the architecture. I'll be discussing about architecture again. Then we'll be discussing about Goldengate certification matrix, how to download Goldengate binaries, how to install Goldengate binaries, decide where to install, and prerequisite to set up Oracle Goldengate. So now, what are the steps to do prior to the next session? So the next session, prior to attending the next session, there are a few steps what you need to do. So the steps include create the VMs. The VMs are already shared with you. If you haven't set those VMs or if you are facing any issue, let me know. I'll resolve those for you. Okay. So you have got lab setup kit, email, etc. Then create the databases over there, which includes OGG-DB1 on GGate1 and OGG-DB2 on GGate2. And if you think, create the pluggable databases. So tomorrow's session again is 75 minutes. The link should be same. If there are any changes in the link, you should be receiving the WhatsApp. You will be receiving that over WhatsApp or as well as over the calendar invite. So next now, if you want to continue, like I'll be discussing about how to set up the virtual box. So if you want to continue to attend, you can do. Otherwise, if you want to drop off, you can drop off. So we'll meet tomorrow, same timing. Okay, in session 2. Thank you everyone for joining today's session.
Ashish asked you.
Okay.
This conference will now be recorded.
So now I'll discuss about training guidelines, etc. So once you enroll for the course, so you would have received 2 emails from my email ID. One is like your enrollment confirmation email. So these are sent automatically as soon as you enroll. So based on like your enrollment, so you can check what courses you are enrolled for, whether you are enrolled for classic, microservices, and Veridata, or all 3. So you can confirm the details over here. If you have any discrepancy, just reply to the email and I'll have a look. The second email which you have received would be lab setup kit practice. So I understand few of you are giving me the request issue. So I'll have a look at it. But just to let you know, like when you click on this link, okay, so it will open these 4, it will take you to this page. So what you have to do is, this is the virtual box which you have to download. If you want to download the latest version, you can. This is 6.0.20. I believe there is one more latest version which is available, so you can download it from virtualbox.org. So you need to download it, and then you also need to download this ggate1.ova. Okay, so this is 11.36 GB VirtualBox file which you need to download. Then this is the video which I have prepared how to set up lab for GG training. So go through this video. In the meanwhile, let it download. If you have Wi-Fi issues, I would suggest download, because it's a big file, 11 GB file. So I would suggest download it from using LAN connection if possible. Otherwise, use Wi-Fi if you think it is okay to download. Okay. So watch it. It will help you in how to set up the lab. But just to let you know, in the meanwhile, so when you open this virtual box, you will find that nothing is here. So what you need to do is you need to import the ggate1.ova from import alliance. Click on import alliance. There is one step-by-step pictorial guide present over here as well. So you can use this as well. So click on import alliance, and once you click on import alliance, select the location where ggate1.ova is downloaded. Select it, then click on next. Once you, so I have it available under D lab setup ggate1.ova. Click on next, and then select the location. If you have, means you should have the space available in that drive. If you want to choose any other drive, you can change over here, and then you can choose, like if you want to generate new MAC address, you can do that over here. Once it is done, click on import. So import will start, and it will take roughly around 5 minutes to 30 minutes to import. Once it is done, next is we want to clone it. So right click on it, because my machine is right now already cloned or it is running. So for cloning, you have to ensure that it is in powered off mode. Right click and then click on clone. Once you click on clone, click on change the name to ggate2, and then select include new hardware and MAC address. You include new MAC address, generate new MAC address while cloning, and then select full clone. If you go through this document, it tells everything for you. Just follow this document or follow the video. It will be fine for you. Okay. Once you have done that, then open the VM. So this is my Ggate1 and the password is welcome1. So what we have to ensure first of all is like the IP address of the VM. You see it is here. These are the IP address. We have two Ethernet adapters. So now you have to ensure that the IP address in /etc/host matches with any of these. So su hyphen. So you need to log in as root. The password is welcome1. Okay. Then go to cd/etc/host file. Oh, sorry. vi/etc/host. So you have to ensure the IP address of Ggate1 should match with ifconfig output of Ggate1. Okay, so you see there are two Ethernet adapters. You can have one as well. So you can choose either of the IP in etc host. Either choose this or this. I'm choosing Ethernet 3. Anything is okay. You can choose 116 or 114. 114. So you have to ensure the output of ifconfig and etc host matches. Then for Ggate2, you can get the IP address from Ggate2 machine. So first of all, you see over here that the name of Ggate2 machine is Ggate1. So we need to change it first of all. So how do we change it? Each and every step is mentioned in this pictorial guide. If I download it, so just follow this and watch this video, you'll be good. But because I just have to show and I'm setting at this VM, so I'll show it to you. So it shows step by step what you have to do. For cloning as well, it shows you what you have to do step by step. Once it is done, then we'll be changing the name. So to change the name, what you have to do is you have to change this. You have to change it in etc sysconfig network. Login as root. Password of everything is welcome1 in small. So vi/etc/sysconfig/network. So here change the host name to Ggate2. Updating IP. So next step is like update the host name. That is okay. Then you need to this IP address part you can leave it as it is. That's okay. So next is you need to change the details in /etc/host. So both the files will remain same in both the environments. So Ggate1 IP we have given, and let us check the IP of Ggate2. So Ggate2 IP, let us take this 117. 117. Save it and close it. Similarly, change it in Ggate1 as well. Save it and close it. It is done. Now you can restart Ggate2. To make the changes effective, restart Ggate2. So now the changes will be effective. Okay, so once these changes are effective, next is like your Oracle database software is installed, you have to create the database. So we'll discuss about that tomorrow, how to create database, what all things need to be done. We'll be discussing in the next session. So guys, another thing is this session, like today's session, what we did, it will be available, the session will be, this folder will be shared with you. So the session will be uploaded in latest weekday 2111_classic. So this folder will be shared to you over Gmail. Okay. So as a task for this session, set up your VM like what we have discussed today, and then we'll continue in the next session. Thank you.